Good afternoon, Brick. Last Saturday, I was honored to represent our school district and bring Valentine's Day cards from our elementary students to our local healthcare heroes at Brick's Ocean Medical Center. Congressman Andy Kim, Mayor John Ducey, Hospital Executive Director Jason Kretner, myself, Ms. McNamara, and Dr. Anderson thanked the frontline workers at the hospital for all that they do. What a privilege. Last night's board meeting, I spoke a little bit about the budget process and the budget calendar. It's that time of year again where we prepare next year's school district's budget for 21-22. We started this process back in November with our program managers and administration. Our budget's very simple in that we don't have much control over revenue sources. Our standard budget increase is around $4 million. Our revenue can only go up $2 million with the state mandated 2% tax levy cap. We also have another year's reduction of state aid of $5.2 million due to the S2 funding cliff. Our budget calendar has the adoption of the tentative 21-22 budget scheduled for March 18th Board of Education meeting. The filing deadline of the tentative budget to the executive county superintendent is March 19th. The public hearing on the 21-22 budget with its adoption is scheduled for April 29th. The user-friendly budget should be posted to the district website the next day. Final deadline for the adoption of the 21-22 budget is May 14th. Speaking of S2, some detrimental effects of the S2 funding cliff continue. Through and including this year, we have already been reduced $8.8 million and cut 100+ positions due to S2. We will lose $5.2 million this upcoming budget cycle, the largest loss yet, with more job cuts as well. That's over a 10% reduction of staff to date. Brick Township Public Schools is one of the few negatively affected S2 districts that is under adequacy, the low cost per pupil compared to the rest of the state, and under its local fair share. Brick's last adequacy budget for the 2020-21 school year is $5.6 million, millions of dollars under the state recommended adequacy budget. We spent $15,101 as a comparative cost per pupil, down from the prior year's $15,257, and the 18th lowest cost per pupil, also down from the prior year's 25th lowest, according to the Taxpayer's Guide to Spending. Mr. Edwards and I recently met with some representatives from the state on our S2 plight. They really believe in our approach and want to promote Brick as the model in working through this S2 funding cliff challenge. We've exhausted any and all mechanisms that we could control at this point and appealed to the state for help. We communicated that Brick Township Public Schools has already closed, then repurposed 2 elementary schools to pre-K, utilized 2% mandated tax levy cap to our best extent possible, cut 150 jobs over 3 years, realized cost savings by creating a wellness center and healthcare partnership, becoming self-insured, and lastly, initiating a comprehensive feasibility study and strategic plan. So as we told them, we have skin in the game already. Our phase 2 start. At last month's Board of Education public meeting, I communicated at that time that though we believe that virtual instruction is effective, it does not engage our youngest learners like in-person instruction does. So we are hopeful for a phase 2 start for elementary students to commence as soon as possible. I said at last night's board meeting, I am pleased to announce that that time has arrived. This coming Monday, February 22nd, all elementary students will move to 4 days per week in-person schedule if they choose. After monitoring the initial phase 2 with elementary students, it is our hope that middle school and high school students can begin phase 2 a few weeks later. Our very flexible virtual learning hybrid model in our Brick Township Public Schools Restart Plan provides us with the ability to meet the guidelines of the New Jersey Department of Health while allowing for a fluid transition from hybrid learning model to remote learning at any time and providing for a continuity in learning as well. Parents, students have always had the ability to move between virtual and in-person models of instruction. Parents continue to have the option to choose all remote virtual as well. We all want to be back in person all the time. And to that end, we have an approved plan in place to meet that objective. Our approved plan has been commended, copied, and even promoted by the Department of Education and other districts. We continue to follow our plan with only the timelines being adjusted. We take an iterative approach with our plan: stage, monitor, and assess. Each stage or iteration, we monitor and assess before moving on to the next stage of the plan. I want to remind all that we have always been in person since the first day of school, albeit hybrid, but our pre-K, special education, LLD, self-contained, bilingual programs have been in 4 days per week, and now elementary students, K to 5, will have the option to attend 4 days per week also. Also, we have never closed the entire district at any one point, like so many other districts across the state have done. Some new guidance from the CDC came out last week, and it's really not new, but more of the same. Regardless of the level of community transition, it says it is critical that schools use and layer mitigation strategies it recommends. We already have this in place. The 5 key mitigation strategies that the CDC recommends in order for a safe delivery of in-person instruction, we are currently adhering to: face coverings, physical distancing to the best extent practicable, hand washing, hygiene, cleaning of facilities, and contact tracing, quarantine protocols in collaboration with our local Department of Health. The usage of face coverings, masks, was determined to be critical health and safety standards necessary in order for in-person instruction to resume in September. The governor's executive order recognizes this and requires mandatory use of face coverings for all students, staff, and visitors while school is in session. All students are required to wear masks and have been required to wear masks since the start of the school year, albeit there are considerations relevant to students with special needs. The New Jersey Department of Education has said that students and staff should be provided with face covering breaks throughout the day. Thus, students do receive mask breaks. In addition, we have unit ventilators in schools to provide fresh air intake. These ventilators are outfitted with high-performing filters that are treated with a biostatic coating, providing 90 days of protection against germs, airborne contaminants, and the like. We have also placed HEPA air purifiers in every elementary classroom. In some cases, social distancing can be accomplished, and we will continue to endeavor to provide it to the maximum extent possible. Just an important reminder that we don't want to derail our phase 2 and go backwards at this point. We all want to keep moving forward. Please be even more diligent than ever with practicing CDC recommended health protocols. If you are sick, awaiting a test result, or live in direct contact with a confirmed COVID-19 positive person, please stay home so as not to impact other students and staff. Another reminder, please do not rely on social media or Facebook for information. Most times it is misinformation, and there is much disinformation out there. You do not want to get your information this way. Please contact your building principal or central office. Much of the information requested is readily available on our district website as well. As I said last night, I think it's important to acknowledge the hardships of both parents and staff at this time. As a parent and as an educator, I understand. And the district has been working very hard with the Ocean County Department of Health, Ocean Medical Center, and Integrity Health, our wellness partner, to facilitate it, to set up a pathway for our staff to be vaccinated. Matter of fact, last night, the Board of Education approved a resolution urging the governor to move educators up in the queue to be vaccinated. Yesterday, the world watched the NASA Mars 2020 Perseverance rover safely land after a 7-month journey throughout space. This feat of ingenuity provided by a diverse team of scientists and engineers provides all of us with true inspiration. The team wrote and rewrote hundreds of thousands of lines of code, developed new technologies like a low atmospheric helicopter, and is collecting soil samples to determine if there's ever life on Mars. Truly amazing. And in a time of weariness, when our patience may be wearing thin, I hope we can look at NASA's accomplishment as an inspiration to learn, strive, persevere, and achieve. And we have learned so much during this crisis. I know I have learned immensely. I think we all learned that we need to think of others and show support to others during tough times. I know many of our students have learned to think of others and how their own decisions impact others. We all have learned, and learning beats knowing anytime, a true educator would tell you, because it's about the process. I know that at times it seems that there's no end in sight with this pandemic, but this too shall pass. We all need to help remind one another that we have been through difficult times before, and we will ultimately get through this crisis as well. What I think we will all remember when this is over is how we treated each other and how much love and support and empathy we extended to others who are struggling, and how we continue to work together as a community. Brick strong. Stay safe and healthy, Brick.